Hello and welcome to the second edition of our weekly podcast news bulletins from SBN Gambia. I'm Shira Ravindran. In the headlines, the government of the People's Republic of China, through its embassy in the Gambia, has donated $210,000 to the First Lady's Operation, Save the Children Foundation. Gambia's opposition presidential candidates to present coalition options to GOFER. Former Deputy Minister Sajo Jallow under NIA custody. Gambia benefits from $35 million Dalasi journalism project. Now the news in detail. The government of the People's Republic of China, through its embassy in the Gambia, has donated $210,000 to the First Lady's Operation, Save the Children Foundation, in a ceremony held at the First Lady's office in the State House, Banjul. Speaking to the First Lady's office press corps, shortly after meeting Her Excellency, Madame Zineb Jameh, according to the Daily Observer, Ambassador Zhang Jiming said that she is very honoured to have the opportunity to present the amount to the First Lady and chairperson of the Operation, Save the Children Foundation, the donation for the expansion of the Pediatric and Maternity Ward of the Serekunda General Hospital. Some aspiring opposition presidential candidates in the Gambia on Wednesday, 5th October 2016, have agreed to present their various coalition options to the Gambia oppositions for the electoral reform, GOFER, on Friday, 7th October. According to the Fourier newspaper, the candidates will forward their contentious positions to GOFER in a bid to reach a consensus on the best method for the selection of a single flag bearer for a united opposition to challenge the incumbent President Yahya Jammeh. On the 1st December presidential election, speaking to the waiting journalists outside of the conference room, Mr. Halifa Saleh, the PDOIS presidential candidate, said the objective of the meeting was to review all the coalition options, which according to him was done despite the absence of some key presidential candidates. He said they have agreed now to convene a meeting of the Gambia opposition for the electoral reform, GOFER, and each of the presidential candidates will present a coalition option for the gathering so that they can build a consensus. The GOFER meeting is promising. Keba Jafang is a report for the Fourier newspaper. He has more on yesterday's meeting.
Well, thank you very much. I think a very important impression that we realized yesterday, because yesterday was a defining moment for the fact that the oppositions who have been engaging themselves in talk, they were able to came up with a final outcome that they agreed unanimously on the method they should use to select a leader. I think that's a very, very, good move, which is very, very welcoming to the Gambian as a public and also those in diaspora. Is a good news because it is obvious that it will be the only coalition that will reflect the current president of the country. So if the opposition could agree to come together and coalesce and remove the current regime, then I think that's a good development in the political development of the country of recent.
Now, Mr. Jeffong, when you said unanimous, knowing the complication of Gambian politics, do you mean this involved all the political stakeholders?
It involves all, because all the as far as this talks is concerned, it is comprised of about five. Let me name them. That's UDD. We have PDIS and LCP, NRP, and then GDC, and then we have independent. This is five stakeholders that we're talking about. These are involved because they are the one with presidential candidates. And this meeting is concerning the president, is involving the presidential candidates, no other stakeholders, so that they can come together and discuss. So obviously, whatever agreement that came out of it, like what we seen yesterday, is taken on behalf of the entire parties, that are involved in the talks. So there is no party that will tell me that they are not part of it, or the agreement that was made there is not binding upon them, because it's a unanimous agreement. Of course, yesterday when they completed their talks and they were marching out from the conference room, I tried to engage all of them because most of them were represented by their parties. Yesterday, presidential party candidates were not enough, but they were represented. So I tried to get in touch with them to find out what the thing was, but they all referred me to Halifa. Of course, Halifa Saleh is the initiator of the talks, and then they all referred me to him. And I could observe that reaction. I could see their smiling faces. That could tell me at that very time, material time, that something welcoming is about to be displayed to the public. So obviously, when I met GDC, because I'm mentioning GDC because I just learned that they are they are party dispatched a statement to try to refute the post I made yesterday on Facebook that they have unanimously agreed. Of course, this is wrong because it was being the deputy leader of the Gambia Democratic Congress, was approached, and then he referred me to Hanifa because Hanifa, is the initiator. He said, whatever Hanifa said is true. That's exactly what he told me.
The National Assembly member for Banjul South, Honourable Alhaji Sila, has called for a change of waste dumping methods, as well as to adopt international standards of waste dumping in the Gambia to be able to eradicate wasted problems in the country. Honourable Sila made these remarks on Wednesday parliamentary sitting in Banjul on his contribution to a report on the tour of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Environment, Sustainable Development and Coastal Environment dumping site that was conducted from the 22nd to the 26th June 2016.
Since time immemorial, since before we are born, the method of dumping waste remains the same. It's just the same. And we must understand that as we go on in life, things are changing. It's not about changing attitudes alone, it's about those who are supposed to manage waste to do their job. You have little waste coming into one dump site. You have clinical waste coming from the hospital. You have commercial waste. You have hotel waste. You have domestic waste. Everything put together. You think that is management? There is no reason why we cannot, as of now, put a mechanism where we separate waste, domestic waste on one side. Probably it could even be recycled. And clinical waste, there should be a special way to handle clinical waste. I'm sorry to say, for example, my leg is amputated. You just take it and dump it where food is being dumped. What would that look like? I think we have a serious problem in capacity building and the problem of the councils where people pay their tax for their waste to be collected and money. Are the councils doing their job?
In response to the issues raised by honourable members, Pa Osman Jaju, Minister of the Environment, said that the waste management is very expensive and that the councils don't have financial capacity needed to adequately manage waste.
A very expensive venture, and we all know that councils don't have financial capacity, neither the technical wherewithal to really adequately manage the waste. But I must commend them for the job that they are doing so far, because what I know from their budget and the amount of resources that dedicated towards waste management is almost 60% of their annual budget. If you look at KMC, for instance, every set setup, the environment would dedicate $300,000 towards set setup. KMC would spend over $500,000 every set setup. And they have also invested in trucks.
Former Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Sajo Jallow, has been finally traced at the National Intelligence Agency headquarters in Banjul, according to his counsel Gay, who told the Special Criminal Court presided over the Justice O. Otaba has his client Mamadou Sajo Jallow, the former Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, was arrested by plainclothes officers since 2nd September 2016 and taken to the NIA headquarters in Banjul, where he is still languishing under custody. According to the Point newspaper, his lawyer has filed an application for his client to be released unconditionally. Since his arrest on the 2nd September, Mr. Jallow has not been brought to court. He has been held incommunicado and denied access to his family. Reasons for his detention are not yet known. You are listening to the podcast from the Shepherds Broadcasting Network. I am Shira Ravindran. $35 million project for journalism and media technical capacity building in the Gambia has been launched on Wednesday 6 October at a local hotel in Bijilo. The project is funded by the European Union and will be implemented by the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. The EU ambassador to the Gambia, Attila Lajo, said that the objective of the project is to contribute to better democratic governance through improving freedom of the press and the quality of information available. According to Ambassador, the press must be free from state interference, adding that a critical, independent and investigative press is the lifeblood of any democracy.
Independent and investigative press is the lifeblood of any democracy. The press must be free from state interference. It must have the economic strength to stand up to the blandishment of government officials. It must have sufficient independence from vested interests to be bold and inquiring without fear or favor. It must enjoy the protection of the Constitution so that it can protect our rights as citizens. It is only such a free press that can temper the appetite of any government to amass power at the expense of the citizens. It is only such a free press that can be the vigilant watchdog of public interest against the temptation on the part of those who wield it to abuse that power. It is only such a free press that can have the capacity to relentlessly expose excesses and corruption on the part of the government, state officials and other institutions that hold power in society.
Mr. Sheriff Bojan Gambia's Minister of Information said the Gambia government provides an enabling environment for journalists, adding that there is a need for dialogue between the media houses and the government in order to achieve the desired goal.
The government of the Gambia still upholds its commitment to provide an enabling environment for the media that ensures press freedom, responsible and balanced journalism. Following the repeal of the National Media Commission Act in 2004, the government is still collaborating with the Gambia's media fraternity to facilitate that atmosphere of professionalism within a self-regulated environment. These, we believe, will ensure a dynamic and responsible press geared towards nation building. To this end, the Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure has outlined a detailed plan and has engaged UNESCO and the EU for support to implement the plan with all media stakeholders that will lead to an all-inclusive regulatory body. The government of the Islamic Republic of the Gambia over the years has made significant strides to provide the right environment for a vibrant media in this country. This has resulted in the proliferation of press houses and radio stations that ensures pluralism, choice and variety for the populace. Also, efforts are being undertaken to develop a more professional media fraternity that promotes responsible and professional journalism through factual and ethical reporting. In this vein, a School of Journalism was created at the University of the Gambia to provide the requisite capacity building opportunities for media practitioners.
A task force that was established to investigate the Brikama market fire outbreak that destroyed 22 canteens has handed over its findings to the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of the Brikama Area Council. According to the Fourier newspaper, findings reveal that the value of the items destroyed in the fire incident is about $1.1 million. That is all on the podcast news bulletins from me, Shura Rindran. Coming up next is a continuation of Victims with Solomon Barr. Have a lovely week. Enjoy the song from the Dancehall Masters.
Well, it's the dancehall thing. Original concept of the party. Mike alongside Mr. B. We come for night from the blaze. Comes and daddy gonna leave. Comes and daddy gonna leave. We gonna live forevermore. Yes, and forevermore. No more. Here come the voice of one comes under the yo. I comes under the we and room love the place because when we call get to you, talk with the cause. Give them the sound and they must start come out. Well, is that something me can't get to understand? Anytime we come and stick on the stage, well, get to you to scream them, scream man, scream not flying over them and come with chillions in a dance hall. Cause they know you give them the real mission over them and come with chillions in a dance hall. Cause they know you the number one mention over them and come with chillions in a dance hall.
Microphone.
Hello, hey yo, woman DJ. Yo, woman DJ. Hello. That's right. Someone say me come fi kill the rhythm. When real I don't have to give them the real. Cause them real I need to get them remedy. That's right. Don't go them a come fi chillin' young in a dance hall. Cause them know you give them the real. Me say no for them a come fi chillin' young in a dance hall. Cause them know you the number one. Me say no for them a come fi chillin' young in a dance hall. Master, chick-chack microphone. Dance hall master. Vote all it take you. Dance hall master. Why ain't that one you don't die?
That was the weekly podcast news bulletins by Sarah Ravendran, and welcome to the second edition of our podcast series on detention without trial and disappearances without trace with me, Suleiman Ba. To some, it is very strange that citizens can disappear for days, months and years from their families in their own country. Section 19 of the Gambian Constitution states that any person who is arrested or detained who is not released shall be brought without undue delay before a court, and in any event within 72 hours. However, that is not the situation in the country as we look at it. In detention for 247 days is the Imam of Tasilame in Lower Fladu West District, Central River region of the Gambia, Mr. Charno Gassama. He is still under detention without trial at the Janjambre prison in CRR. He has not been released and neither has he been taken to court, which is in gross violation of his rights. According to the Furuya newspaper, Imam Gassama was arrested on Monday 2nd November 2015 at his residence by an operative of the National Intelligence Agency who was accompanied by a police officer dressed in uniform from the Brikama Bar police station. In detention for 675 days is a former staff of the telecommunication company Gamtel Gamcell, Mr. Sidi Jaite. He is still under detention without trial for 675 days at the maximum security wing of the Mile 2 Central Prisons without access to his family or relatives. Family source informed Foroya newspaper that Mr. Jaite has not returned home since he got arrested on the 27th August 2014, and no single family member knows the reason behind his arrest and detention. Disappeared for more than 10 years is a former military personnel of the Gambia Armed Forces, Lieutenant Ibolo, who was arrested in 2006 and has gone missing since then without any trace of him, a relative informed the Foroya. According to reports, Lieutenant Low was among the military officers who were arrested in the wake of the 2006 21st March attempted coup to overthrow the APRC regime. It was later announced by the state-owned broadcaster GRTS on the 4th April 2006 that Lieutenant Ibolo escaped with 4 others who were being transferred to Janjambre prison in the hinterland. However, since then, none of his entire family members have seen or heard from him. Disappeared for more than 10 years is a former State House senior reporter and crime watch columnist for the Daily Observer, journalist Chief Ibrahim Mane. According to the Furuya, Mr. Mane was arrested by security agents at his workplace in Bakau. This was shortly after the African Union AU Summit hosted in the Gambia. According to Furuya, Chief Mane's aging father has been making frantic efforts in search of his son since he got weeks away. However, according to him, he has visited all known security detention centers across the country without any trace of his son. Mr. Mane explained that he has approached personalities such as the then NIA Director, Mr. Hari Sambo, the then Inspector General of Police, Mr. Osman Sonko, the State House Imam Alhaji Abdullah Fati, and the Vice President, Madam Aisrinja Saidi, to help in the efforts to trace his son, but to no avail. On the 19th June 2007, the Media Foundation for West Africa, based in Accra, Ghana, filed a suit against the Gambia government at the ECOWAS court in Abuja, Nigeria, to produce journalist Chief Mane. However, the court held several proceedings, but since the commencement of proceedings on the 16th July 2007, the government of the Gambia repeatedly failed to appear before the ECOWAS court after being served with several summons. On the 5th June 2008, the ECOWAS court entered judgment in favor of the missing journalist and ordered the Gambia government to release and compensate him an amount of $100,000. But still now, the community court's ruling has not been honored by the Gambian authorities. disappeared for more than 3 years now are Alhaji Mahmoud Sise and Ibu Job. The two are U.S. citizens of Gambian descent. They were reported missing on Saturday, 22nd June 2013 in Bruceby while on holiday in the Gambia. The disturbed family members of the two U.S. citizens are dissatisfied with the lack of progress as they are yet to trace their whereabouts or to secure their immediate relief. That is all from SBN Gambia on the victims. Until next week, bye for now.
Never